Hey, plumbing pros, welcome to the 472nd episode of Potty Talk, where we're taking it into the trenches, crawl basements, kitchens, and baths, all around this big, beautiful world of ours, talking the business of plumbing, how to have a thriving, self-sustaining, and very profitable plumbing business while having a life too. You know, the industry is shifting fast. Tariffs, inflation, and AI are changing how plumbing businesses operate. In this episode, we're breaking down how to stay profitable, competitive, and ahead of the curve in 2025 and beyond. And we're starting right now. All right, hey, it's good to have you here in another episode of Potty Talk. And we're going to, of course, be talking about plumbing market real talk. I guess that's the title. What 2025 has in store for your plumbing business.
No fake talk.
No fake talk.
Only real talk.
It's good to have you here as well, sweetheart. Boy, you're looking kind of like a bad girl with your leather jacket.
Oh, yeah?
All right. Very good.
Yeah, throwback to my
your high school
rebellious high school days.
Kind of the bad girl that you were. And yes, the lovely
parents.
Laura was a bad girl. And I like my lovely Laura bad girl.
My parents did not. At all. It's time for you to leave. Basically what they said. Anyway, so we're talking real talk.
Real talk
Right.
with marketing real talk. Okay, and what's going on with the market and how things have changed. All right? And so which leads us to gold nugget number one, okay? Tariffs, tech, and tight margins. Oh my. You know, the rules are changing. You know, smart owners adapt, okay? Let's look at what matters most in 2025 market, okay? And it all starts with know your numbers, okay? Rising costs from global supply chain issues mean you must know exactly what every job costs you. Guessing is done. If you're not watching your margins like a hawk, you're already bleeding profit. You need to know your material costs, your labor costs, and your break even down to the dollar. That's how you stay in the game when prices rise. You know, I know you have something to say about that,
I do.
about knowing your costs.
Well, yeah, you got to know your costs because if not, you're just blind, right? You're just, and then it kind of gets worse and worse. Right, it's like if you haven't been paying attention, paying attention, you're like, I don't even want to look because I can't even imagine how bad it is, right? So, and that's no way to operate any business, but of course, we're talking plumbing business.
Well, and that goes, you know, often, you know, I know I did this, you know, starting out. I didn't know the cost. I just took pricing of what, you know, we did at the last plumbing company I worked for. And then, you know, I'm asking down at the supply house and those kinds of things. And I was just charging what I thought I had to charge. I didn't know what it was costing me.
Right.
Okay. So that's a huge mistake, you know, just starting out.
Yes. We were clueless.
Right.
And we whatever we could get too sometimes on jobs. Okay, well maybe this job because we've got some really big bills, so maybe we can charge a little bit more.
Right. Or they have a Mercedes in the driveway or in the garage, you know, and
we
so
can charge them more.
Right.
If the car was crappy, like the cars we drove,
Exactly.
we can't drive them very much.
You know, and it's just, and we're laughing at that, but that's how kind of we all start. But bottom line is we don't know what we're charging, why we're charging, what things are costing us.
Right.
Okay. And so a lot of times we're charging less than what things are costing us.
Not a lot of times, I would say.
Majority of the time.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, if you're feeling like it's, you know, one step up, two steps back. Okay. Even when, you know, I had a good week, you know, I had jobs. Okay. And you get to the end of the month and it's like, I was working all the time. Where'd
it go?
Where'd the money go?
Right.
It's because we've not considered all your costs.
Right.
Okay.
All your costs.
And so even just starting out, that's a huge mistake. But also we can get into things, and when the market gets, you know, squirrely, you know, like right now here in the U.S., you know, we have the tariff thing going on, which is good, by the way.
Correct.
But
yes,
initially it can drive costs up. Okay. So if we're not aware of that, thus passing those costs on, you know, to our customer, which is, I mean, you know, it sounds like I just said a mean thing.
What?
Well, you pass those costs, those higher costs onto the customer. Well, you shouldn't do that. That's being
them off.
That's being mean, or right,
Right.
Exactly. No, that's business.
Who's going to pay for it?
Right.
Who's going to pay for those extra costs?
Right.
You?
Exactly.
Right? I'm a plumbing business owner. Because if you're not passing it on to Mrs. Jones, to your plumbing customer, then that's exactly who is going to pay for it. Because somebody's going to pay for it. The supply houses aren't going to eat it. right?
Right.
They're going to charge what they need.
They're passing the cost on to you.
Which is you're the customer, right? So you have to do it with your customers, and it's just how it is. It doesn't. You can rail against it or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Right.
If you're not charging what you should be charging, you're like you always say, you're stealing from your customers, but also you're stealing from your family.
Right.
Stealing from your family for sure.
Exactly. So you gotta know your costs. There's just no excuse.
Yes.
Okay. And again, with as things are changing so quick, we got AI coming in, and so you've got to adapt to the changes, which brings me to my point number 2, which is that it's so important to adapt, or you get left behind. AI automation. Remote operations aren't gimmicks. They're here, and they're force multipliers. Smart dispatch, automated reminders, dynamic pricing. These aren't for the big guys only, okay? These are tools for smart owners to scale with fewer mistakes and more speed. If you don't adapt, you will fall behind.
You'll be left behind, just like that series, Left Behind.
Left behind.
And that's bad. Left behind.
I mentioned, the AI. AI is a huge game changer.
Artificial intelligence.
Now, and how I see that it's, just very quickly, we can't go in all the, discuss everything here in this episode with AI, but one thing is very clear, that our customers will start, searching, start finding plumbers. You go to ChatGTP.
Right. ChatGPT.
And use AI, a plumber, a plumber near me, or who's a good plumber in town, that kind of a thing. So it's understanding. That's where things are going.
It will go there.
So we've got to have an understanding of AI. Okay.
Yep.
Now, coming from an old dog, even just the internet. It's like, I just discovered the internet, this past year.
And you're like, this thing's going to take off. I'm pretty sure it's not going anywhere. You're like, honey, you're a genius.
Yeah, it's internet. It can be a little overwhelming. Okay, but you've got to be up on these things. Yep. Okay, you don't have to be an expert at it or totally understand it.
Nope.
But realize. It's here and it ain't going away. It's a change.
Yeah. So some of the ways you can go and learn, especially with something as easy, air quotes, as ChatGPT or OpenAI, whatever you want to call it. There's a million YouTube videos out there that can show you how to use ChatGPT for a local business, and just start checking it out, seeing the things that can do. It really can change your business from an automation standpoint. Some of the tasks that that you may do, and especially your administrative staff, that you do for the plumbing business can probably be taken care of with ChatGPT. From writing emails to creating a social media marketing plan. There's all kinds of things that it can do. So don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of it. And if you're absolutely terrified of it, then find somebody on your staff. And CSR typically is a great person to do it. To go out and learn it and see what are all the ways that you can adapt and add AI to your business. And again, some of the tasks. But it's here to stay, and it really can make your business run more smoothly and efficiently.
Yeah, and being a little guy is not a bad thing here, because you can move and adapt quicker than the big guys. Yeah, which brings me to my next point, that local is greater than global. All right, because here's the upside. The big box stores and national franchises are going to feel the squeeze. Okay, you, the local plumbing business, have the advantage if you lean into trust, speed, and presence. Be the name they recognize, okay? The face they trust, and the brand that answers the phone when it matters. Right. Okay, that's your superpower right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, yep. You'll be a little like that. Mm-hmm. Quite frankly, it's just easier to turn the ship. Yes. It's the big ship and little boat comparison. You got that big ship. You have these franchises and these bigger companies. They just aren't going to turn and adapt to these things as quickly, because they have these layers of management and all that kind of stuff, and everyone's just trying to keep their job, okay? And no one's going to kind of stick it out there, okay? You've got nothing to lose. You got to do it. So it's kind of that guerrilla warfare kind of a thing. Yeah. You can be everywhere.
Yes.
So you can be into this stuff. You can adapt it quicker, even when it's not perfect yet. And so you're falling forward. Okay, you can move with greater speed, quicker. Okay, and that's how you win.
Yep, and you're starting to speak the language of some of these things. And again, going back to ChatGPT, it's going to feel weird at first because it's not a different language. That is what I'm trying to say, but it's something new and uncommon or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to feel like you don't speak the language, air quotes again,
Right.
of ChatGPT. It doesn't matter. You can learn it. And you can learn it quicker again than some of these big shops. So and then put those principles into play for your local small plumbing business.
Right. So even though we have these things happening, the tariffs thing and raising prices, and tech is changing, and all that kind of stuff. Really, you're at the advantage. You have the advantage.
Yes.
All right. If you do it.
If you take advantage of it.
Exactly. Okay. Hey, if you want to dig deeper into this and other vital topics, like pricing, hiring, actually getting your butt out of the truck, then join my free school group. It's packed with training and resources and a community of guys just like you looking to grow their plumbing businesses and their freedom. All right. And the best part, it doesn't cost you a dime.
What?
All right. Check the link in the show notes or go to milliondollarplumber.com/school and join us today. Let's build you a plumbing business that works for you, okay, and not the other way around. All right, so
A free school group? What are we, crazy?
yeah, that's right. It's going to be free. Over 40 years of plumbing experience, in that group, plumbing business experience.
We should put it together. Your 40 years and my 20 years. 60 years.
Right.
60 years of plumbing business, expertise?
Expertise. And a lot of stupid mistakes on my part, okay, that I make known that you don't have to do. That's why. Look, one. It's kind of fun being my age now. I'm going on 62, and I still feel like the kid in here.
Totally.
But I have all these experiences, okay, and so I've done everything. I've made every mistake. A lot of successes, and we show that. But more importantly, it's we learn from our mistakes,
Of course.
and our failures. Okay, that's where we learn. So I've had a lot of learning. Okay, all right, and so that's why I can say, I sit here now, and when I see things or hear things, and I speak, I say, no, that won't work. That why you can't.
Confidence.
You can't grow a plumbing business doing new construction. You can't do it. You can have a good job, but you can't. It can't be done. I don't know of anyone that's been really successful in the sense of what I'm talking about, where you've created wealth, financial and time wealth. Okay,
Right.
Got a lot of work, maybe had a lot of money pass through, bought yourself some toys, but I know, right? So it's things like that. I know that. So being at this age, okay, I know and having made all the mistakes, done all the stuff, seen it all, and bought the T-shirt many times. Okay, I just know. Okay, and that's what you get in the school group.
That's true.
School and have access
I
to.
think we should stop saying 40 years. We should start saying 60 years of plumbing business experience.
I think that's fair.
combined, right?
Yeah.
'Cause we had the business for 20 years, so
Yeah.
60 years.
Okay.
There
Seen
you
a
go.
lot, done a lot. Okay, it's
right.
there in the school community. Check it out. If you're overwhelmed by the day-to-day grind of running your plumbing business, you're not alone. Did you know that 95% of plumbing businesses fail in the first 3 years? And the ones that survive, well, they're just barely getting by. Truth is, you probably weren't taught how to run a business. You were taught how to plumb, but not how to price, hire, sell, or grow a plumbing business. That's exactly why I created the $1 Million Plumber Success Academy, to teach you the business side of plumbing. From pricing and sales to hiring and marketing, we cover everything you need to know. With over 150 training videos, live weekly coaching calls, and a community of plumbing pros just like you, you'll finally have the tools and the support to build a business that gives you freedom and profit, and lots of both. Since launching the Success Academy in 2018, I've helped hundreds of plumbing business owners build plumbing businesses that thrive, providing both financial success and personal freedom. The Success Academy is the original, and I spent years perfecting my system to make it work quick and simple. So, if you're ready to transform your plumbing business, or more directly put, if you're ready to stop the suck and start your success, book a call with my team today and plumb like a champion. Okay, hey, we're talking about the plumbing market real talk. Okay, that's the title of this episode.
Okay.
What 2025 has in store for your business.
Okay.
And we just talked about, starting off, we got tariffs, tech, and tight margins, okay, they're going to cause, okay. Gold nugget.
3 T's.
Yes, the 3 T's. Gold nugget number 2, okay. The labor shift is real. Good techs are rare. Great ones, nearly extinct. Here's how smart shops are hiring in 2025. Starting with this, your culture is your magnet. People don't quit plumbing, okay? They quit poor leadership. You want to win the labor game, okay? Build a culture people want to be a part of. Respect, clarity, opportunity. That's what the best techs are looking for. Your culture is your currency. Invest in it or lose your people to someone who will. Culture. First thing I want to say is that it's been hard to find techs for 40 years. Okay, my experience being in 40 years. So it's always been that way. I don't want to give
It's always been a challenge.
It's always been a challenge. Okay, there's never been enough plumbers. Okay, there's never been enough plumbers. I know the clothes have changed, the music have changed, all that kind of stuff. Okay, but that has never changed. Now the reasons we're giving that there's not enough plumbers today, it was that way. That was that way when I started. It was still, they were pushing going to college. We weren't necessarily, there were trade schools, but we weren't pushing it. The whole thing is, go to college, do this, that kind of stuff. Okay. So it's always been that way.
Right.
Okay. And that's kind of how we look at it today, is that.
I don't know. I think the trend is changing a bit. Really over the last, 3 to 5 years of college isn't as important, or not as important. It's not needed. Like, if you don't have to have a college degree for whatever career you're going into, do you really need to go to college? Right. And trade schools, and I'm feeling like they're on the rise, because I listen to Mike Rowe's podcasts, and I don't think you do. Mike Rowe's got a great podcast. And it's not
all the time. It's not part of my daily
but
podcast.
it's not about trades.
Right.
It's not about trades. I mean, he just interviews really interesting people.
Yeah.
But Mike Rowe, he's got Mike Rowe Works Foundation, where he really invests time, money, energy, all the things in getting young men, mostly, to realize you can have an amazing career as a plumber, an HVAC tech, an electrician, whatever. And so I think the tide is changing a bit, where people are seeing, parents especially, seeing, I'm not going to send my kid to college and have this massive debt that either they're taking on or I'm taking on or whatever it might be, when it's not necessary. And that, you can go to to different shops, and some of them will pay for your technical trade or school, right? I mean, there's all different kinds of things that you can do now. So yes, it's true. It's difficult to find techs. We get it. But I really think the tide's starting to change, and that we're going to see more in the industry.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And so you just get better at, better at the game. And it's always been this way. With our clients, and even the members in the Success Academy, when we get to this section and this kind of training of hiring and all that kind of stuff, and building your team, and one of the first questions we ask you is, why in the hell would anyone want to work for you?
Yeah, you gotta ask yourself that. Look in the mirror and say,
why in the hell would anyone work for me? You got to ask that. Okay, so you got to be aware what people are looking for. And one of the things which is big is tech transparency, pay transparency. Okay, high performing techs want to know what's possible and how to get there. So you got to set clear, transparent pay paths. Show them what A-level performance earns. Show them how to level up. Uncertainty kills motivation. Transparency creates ownership, and that's the thing. You want your people to feel ownership. Okay, so that leads to having the right pay structure. Okay, so something that creates opportunity. Paying a guy by the hour doesn't create opportunity. That's just a job.
Well, it creates opportunity for him.
For him, right?
For the technician, it's going to kill your plumbing business if you continue to pay hourly. But the good techs want to have some sort of incentive-based pay. They just do.
Exactly. And so another point of that is being transparent. Transparency. That's why commission pay doesn't work overall either. By paying by commission.
Right, you get 25% or 28%.
Well, it's that, but it's always after this is taken out, and you do this, but it doesn't include on this, and these kinds of jobs, it doesn't include this, and if you do this, we're going to do that, but if you don't do this, then we're going to do that. And
what about when it's a full moon?
Right, exactly. That's what happens. So what happens? Yeah, we all, and maybe even you, okay, as a plumbing business owner, maybe you worked in a commission area and you did really well with it. Well, there's a reason why you're a plumbing business owner. Right. If you own a plumbing business, you're listening to this. There's a reason why you are. You're different. Yeah, you're a plumber, but you're not a plumber. Okay, and so it's commission paying, that kind of stuff, you get it, selling and all that, and you're driven, and that works. But overall, again, this is 40 years. Okay, 60. Okay, with experience. All right, that the commission pay does overall with most guys. Okay, and that's what we're talking about here, numbers. Right. All right, it doesn't work.
Right.
Okay, that's why we push towards piece rate. Piece rate is the best and the fairest way to pay your guys. It's the fairest way for both, for them, because they can give themselves their own raise. They kind of hold the reins, okay? And then it's also fairest for you, the business owner, because you're not paying for guys sleeping or taking advantage of stuff, whatever. Okay,
it's really
you don't have to babysit. The guys make their own way.
It's really best for the customer as well.
Good point. Okay, that's a 20 years of experience right there.
Attack on
the customer side.
Hello.
Exactly. Yes. And why does the customer like it?
Well, because they don't feel like they're being sold something they don't need.
Right.
On piece rate, you don't have to worry about that.
Right. So the piece rate's the pay.
So from commission rate, you do. The other is the hourly, right? So you get a technician out, kind of just dinking around at the house and oh, shoot, I don't have that part in the truck. I'm going to have to drive down and go get it, but I need to stop on my way back.
And that customer is freaking out, even though they're doing it.
Yes.
Because they're watching, because it's time,
exactly.
That kind of a thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it does not work for the customer.
Exactly.
Piece rate does. It's the fairest for everybody.
All the way around. Okay. And the next, our next point here, it brings us to, it's very important to train, okay? And to train the right way, okay? So stop looking for unicorns. Start building them. The best shops aren't hunting for talent, okay? They're developing it. Create a clear, repeatable training path and invest in the people who align with your values, okay? You build your dream team one rep at a time, okay? Just like you're working out. You don't build muscle by just one thing here. Yep. Okay.
You're right.
One rep, right, exactly. All right. Okay. It's rep after rep after rep. Okay. And of course, there's there's plumbing training. Okay.
That you bring in suppliers and things like that to do
right.
that.
But that's not the focus of the training we're talking about. No. Okay. It's training on your system. Okay.
You have to have confidence in
right.
System.
They got to understand your system and your non-negotiables. This is how we behave. This is what we do. Okay, and when I say training, it is constant training. So, like for 20 years,
when we had our plumbing business.
When I had our plumbing business, I know we had every Monday morning meeting. I know we had it was options, which is one of those in the academy know what we're talking about here. Okay, and sell because that's what sells. Okay, that's what gets your average ticket up. Okay, you don't need special sales skills and all that. That's all BS. Okay,
you say options. It's
providing the customer options.
Correct.
Okay, but I had to train on that and how we did it every single Monday. Okay, even though it's really pretty simple, but it's just part of this is what we do. This is what we do. This is what we do. That's why football teams or whatever. They'll practice. They're pros and they still practice every week, blocking and tackling and running the plays. Just so that it's second nature. That's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Was there a famous coach that says, this is a football? Isn't that how he started every year?
Yeah.
Coach?
I forget. I know who you're talking about. But I can't remember. Yeah. Is it Woody? Yeah.
Woody Harrelson.
No, Woody Harrelson.
Just kidding.
But it's that basic. Exactly. Okay. And that's what I'm talking about training. I'm not talking about fancy plumbing training and all that. In fact, I can tell you in our shop, the focus wasn't on plumbing training. When we had plumbing training, I mean, you do that, but it's just like what we did that. We'd bring in, because if the guys don't understand, if they don't understand Zoll or sump pumps or what's unique to that, it just more they know, that more makes it easier to talk about it, right? So yeah, you're going to do that kind of training, but it's more vital that they understand that you train on your systems and how we do things.
Yes.
And just stay on top of it. Okay, so training is very important. All right. Anything to add to that?
No,
I know we could go on. I mean, there's a lot there. Okay.
Well, because, the topic was, or the gold nugget was, the labor shift is real. So, and how do you set yourself apart? It's by making sure that your technicians really do understand the system so that they're confident and that they feel secure, right? They do want boundaries. They really, just like your kids want the boundaries. Your technicians want the boundaries, but they just need to know what they are. And you, as the plumbing business owner, you are the only one that can set those boundaries. Say this, I think, every single potty talk. You started a plumbing business, you took on an awful lot of things that you didn't even realize that you were taking on when you started the plumbing business. One of them was, I got to create a culture, and I'm gonna figure out a way to have systems in place that that demonstrate to the crew that I'm going to hire what I want them to do. And it doesn't matter what it is. It's your company. You can have them wear, pink hairy hats every day. I don't even know. But it's your company. You can decide. But they have to know what those are. They have to know what those boundaries are. And then they're going to feel secure.
And that's how, and that's how you'll keep your guys and keep your crew. And that's how the word gets out. And that's how you'll attract too. Right. It's not just pay, not the most pay, the most amount of pay. No. The guys, I know you agree with this because that's what we train on. I always
agree with you.
Well, we have the combined experience, with running and growing the plumbing business together. That when we're looking for guys, what's the number one thing that they're really looking for?
Security.
That's right. Of course, you're right. Security. It's security, and what makes them feel secure? Systems. Knowing the boundaries.
Yep.
The systems. How do I do stuff? And just remind it. And it's just and you keep it simple, okay? And there's not a lot of different, a bunch of different things. We call it the non-negotiables. You have 3 to 5 things that this is what we do, or you get fired. I never fired a guy for having a bad job or job going south and causing a problem and costing us money.
Wrecking a brand new truck.
Literally wrecking a brand new, totally a brand new truck. Just got handed the keys down at the light at the end of the road. I've never fired a guy for that.
I wanted you to fire him.
I know. So we feel it.
I wanted you to fire him.
But that wasn't our non-negotiable. That's not the thing. And the guys
that should be non-negotiable. Don't wreck a brand new service van.
But what I know, it's bringing back the emotion.
I know.
And how many times we had diesel Sprinters, the Mercedes, before they were licensed for Dodge. So that tells you how long. It came out. It was top notch. We had top notch gear, but it was Mercedes and they were diesels. Okay, and how many times we have guys put gas in the diesel? $5,000 plus a pop to get those cleaned out. And how many times that happened? Never fired a guy for that. Okay, had direct conversations.
Usually they only did it once.
Once, right?
Because they feel so bad.
And and the threat wasn't that I'll fire you next time. It's just like, come on, man, right, kind of thing. But it's the security is annoying, and the security in that. So they didn't hear me go off on on different stuff. Doesn't mean there weren't tough conversations. Joe messed up a job, on Monday morning, after the Monday morning meeting, I would, pull him aside. You don't do that in front of everybody. Hey man, what happened over here? What happened? Let's talk about, that kind of thing. And work through it, right. But not fired or anything like that. Right. But guys have been fired for no options, not giving options.
Going against the non-negotiables, yes.
On the spot. And that gives security to everybody, because everybody then knows, if I do that, there's the line right there. Now, Richard don't seem to mind when blah, 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 or what. He doesn't mind. It's just that, like my job, I'm not going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my job if I do that.
Yep. It's like your
kids.
If
I do that, if I do these 3 to 5 things, I'm going to lose my job.
It's like your kids. If one of them gets in trouble for something, crawling up on the counter and getting in the cookie jar or something, and mom pulls him down and gives him a spanking, the others go, ooh, okay. Right. That is a non-negotiable for mom.
We don't do that one. And it's that basic. Okay? All right, here we go. All right.
I don't think we ever had to do that, but anyway.
Well, that brings us to gold nugget number 3, okay, which is your economy is what you make it, okay? The economy matters, but how you run your business matters more, okay? Being profitable is a decision, right? You don't find margin, you create it. That means designing your pricing, your overhead, and your service process around profit. If you're just hoping there's money, left at the end of the month, you're playing the wrong game. Profit must be built into the system,
Profit, the 4-letter word.
Right, the 4-letter word profit.
6, but
Right.
some people think it's a 4-letter word.
Well, and sadly, we've kind of been conditioned that way, okay? But what's the first thing that we do in the Success Academy? The very first thing.
Honest hourly rate.
Honest hourly rate.
Determining your honest hourly rate.
Why do we call it the honest hourly rate?
Because it's honest not only for your plumbing business, but for the customers as well. And it's the true number that is needed to operate your plumbing business. And when we say honest hourly rate, yes, we know we're not charging by the job, or I'm sorry, we're not charging by the hour, we're charging by the job. So flat rate pricing. Yes. So sometimes people comment, well, I don't charge by the hour, blah, blah, blah.
I charge flat rate. Well,
yes.
Well, how much is your hour? How'd you figure?
Right. How'd you figure out the flat rate price?
I just took the price from the company.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So you've got to butt crack plumber.
So you've got to know what your true honest hourly rate is, and that's all the expenses that go into it. It's all the time that you have to sell. There's all kinds of things go into it, but that's the very first thing. And I'm telling you, 9.9 times out of 10, when a new member comes into the Success Academy and they do their honest hourly rate and go through it, they're shocked at the number that it needs to be to operate a business. And it's lower. What they were charging before was always lower. Always.
And we find out what we call the hourly. We come up with your hourly expense rate. So it's what it costs you every hour.
With no profit.
With no profit, just what it costs you to operate your plumbing business, whether you're on a job or have a job or not. It's what it costs you to operate your plumbing business, just to operate. And 9.9 times out of 10, that number is greater than what their current hourly rate is, or what's figured into their flat rate. So that's why it feels like you're working all the time and you're just not getting ahead. Okay, where's the money?
It's more month.
Or it feels like, well, the economy. No,
nope.
There's always, okay.
It's your economy.
By the way,
it's messed up.
All the wealthy people make money. I mean, the people who become wealthy, whether they become wealthier or get wealthier, okay, are in low economies. So the whole economy scare thing, that's all for the middle, how we've been conditioned, the middle class, the blue collar, get us all, ramped up and all that other kind of stuff. You do make your economy. Now, saying that, I'm not saying don't be aware and understand. Just like now, we know the tariff thing's going on. We're doing this right now in our country. So, and countries are doing that, and it's good for the U.S. The tariffs, by the way. But initially, prices are going to go up. Okay, so you got to be aware of that. So I'm not saying that there aren't factors. Okay, but you make your own economy. Okay, you make your own profit. Okay, by knowing your numbers and figuring these things out.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Next point, is you got to market, like a boss. Okay. Downturns shift market share. Most companies pull back. I was just talking about that. That's your chance to go harder. Own your zip code. Okay. Be louder, bolder, more visible when others go quiet. That's how you grab the lion's share of your market when everyone else is sleeping. Who's it? Was it Warren Buffett who says, that's when he really makes money, is when,
everyone else is sleeping.
Everyone else is kind of panicking, kind of pulling in, better not do this, better not do that, better save my money, better do, I better charge less. Okay. Better not charge a service call fee, better, all these other kinds of things. No, that's when you double down. Okay. But it takes some courage. Okay.
Yeah. Which you've proven that you've got courage. If you have ventured out on your own to start your own plumbing business, it takes courage for that.
Yeah.
That's not for the faint of heart to do. So you've got that courage. So it is just, it's changing the mindset. And this is what we talk about so much in the academy, and in our live group classes and things is mindset. Just really putting aside the blue collar, low middle class, not even low class, blue collar, where we come from, right?
Right.
And it was drilled into my head. My parents both worked for at a factory, and my father retired from the factory. My mom worked there for 20 some years. crappy, awful work. But man, the owners of that factory, they were just might as well have been the devil. Right. I mean, we just looked at anybody that had money or anybody that was successful, and they're getting, they got rich off the backs of us or whatever. Right. So that was totally drilled into my head, and I'm sure it's probably the same. I know for you, with your dad being a mechanic, but for some of you, and so it's changing that mindset, and it is an ingrained thing. So that's why it's great that you're watching things like Potty Talk, hopefully listening to leadership books and books about success stories. Those are always great. But constantly learning.
Right. And the mind shift is the thing. That's why, I know I'm tough on plumbers. I love plumbing and love plumbers. Okay. It's been my life, but I'm here to speak straight. Okay. So one of the huge problems we have when we start our own plumbing business is we don't have the mind shift of starting to think like a business owner or a CEO. We're still thinking like a freaking plumber. Stop. And you can't be successful thinking like a plumber. You make it all about the plumbing and it's their fault and this guy and I can't do you can't think like that. Right. Okay, successful people think about, okay, there's a problem, how do I get over it, around it, or under it? How do I solve it? That kind of thing.
Shoot it. Whatever.
Right. Whatever it takes. It's not, it's the wrong president and it's the wrong economy and it's like, where's the puppy to hold? I need a mask. Where's my mask? We're all going to die. I'm sorry, but that's where we come from. And sadly, that's why I see part of this is to elevate the plumbing industry.
Yes.
And there's a reason why there's a stereotype, because it's true. And I can say it because that's where I come from. Okay. And if that offends you, then this isn't for you. And you probably, but if you're kind of laughing or, where's Richard? Where's he going or whatever, you're going to be successful in business. Okay. And part of it, that mind shift is again, changing from being thinking like a plumber to like even realizing that you don't own a plumbing business. You're more of a marketing company.
And a recruiting company.
Right.
You're a marketing and a recruiting company.
So we're talking about marketing right here, and marketing like a boss. You don't have to be an expert, but you got to realize that's the game and how's the game played. Yep. And at least be aware of things. Okay, and you're focused on that, not the latest, greatest plumbing thing, and are the guys doing it exactly like I plumb because I'm the best plumber and all that. It's all, you're wasting your time. You're chasing your tail, literally. Like the retarded dog that's just kind of chasing its tail around and around and around. That's what you're doing. Okay.
A retarded dog.
We did have a retarded dog. We actually did have a
sorry. It's a side note.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. What's your next point?
Okay.
Move on. They get y'all messed up.
We've gone off the rail here.
I know. Okay. Sorry.
All right. No, but you gotta have the marketing thing down. Okay. Yes. And here's the thing, it shifts. And it's just being aware of the shifts and figuring things out and dealing with it. Okay. But that's, there's changes happening socially, even how customers are finding us now, all that you got to be aware of that. And you got to play that game if you want to be successful. Okay.
So true. You must do it.
Well, and to wrap up this nugget, vision drives victory. Uncertainty exposes leadership. Okay. You want to win 2025? You got to lead. You've got to know where you're going, your mindset, your systems, your goals. That's what determines your future. Not inflation, not interest rates, not politics, and that's the thing. Okay. The bottom line, it's up to you. Okay. That's the bottom line. And, now we've seen it now. We've had the Success Academy for, 6-7 years now. Okay. And we've had hundreds of success stories, okay, that are, have changed their lives. They've gone from being a one-truck chuck to multi-truck, multi-million-dollar operations. Okay? With freedom. Okay. We've had some sell now for multi-millions. Okay. Having gone through the MDP Success Academy. Okay. But the ones that are successful, it's clear. They've taken the information and they've done it. They did it. It's up to you.
Right.
They've learned it. Okay, overcome the fears of we've been conditioned one way. So it's like we just talked. You mentioned price. I'm so used to I can't charge more than 125, and my market won't pay more than that.
Yeah, my customers won't pay.
Okay, you got to get past that, and if you're you got to charge $350. You got to charge $350. I mean that's what it takes.
You got to charge $500.
We have many charge $500 an hour, over $500 an hour. BFE. Alaska, literally Alaska, okay, in the middle of nowhere, charging over $500 an hour and getting it all day long, okay? When you know your numbers and you're confident about things, okay, and you provide the right kind of service, you're marketing to the right customers, all those kinds of things, it's done. It can be done, okay?
It's up to you.
But it's up to you, okay? And that's the bottom line. You're the bottleneck. You're the problem. I guess that just kind of came out.
There's hope.
There's there's definitely hope. You're looking. If I can do it, brother, you can do it. Let me tell you that. Okay. All right. Hey, well, let's quickly recap what we've covered here. Okay. All right. Gold nugget number 1: tariffs, tech, tight margins. Oh my. Okay. Know your job costs. Lean into AI and tech. All right, and dominate locally. The winners in 2025 and beyond will be lean, smart, and trusted. Gold nugget number 2, okay, the labor shift is real. Culture wins, clear paths, okay, matter, all right, and the best shops don't find talent, they build it. Nugget number 3, your economy is what you make it. Margins are made, not found. Market like a leader. And never forget, your vision sets the ceiling, all right? Okay. And hey, if you're ready to fast track your freedom, we're talking about, if you're done guessing, done grinding, and ready to build a real plumbing business that gives you both profit and peace, right? Book a free strategy call with one of my success coaches, right? Okay, we'll get you pointed in the right direction so you can build a plumbing business, all right, that serves you and not the other way around, all right? Wouldn't that be nice? Simply click the link in the show notes, so go to milliondollarplumber.com to schedule your free
milliondollarplumber.com/call.
Oh, I forgot the call part.
/call.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go, okay?
Okay.
All right. Hey, until next time, you were purposely and wonderfully created, and you were created to do great things. So plumb like a champion.
Bye, everybody.